Hey everyone, thanks for watching. I have a great show and guest for you today. I have someone who has pioneered an event called the REI BarCamp. Let's welcome Bo back to the show. How you doing, Bo?
All right, I'm doing well. Just like a little sweaty, but don't mind my sweat. But just like crushed at the gym, so
Good
that,
for you, man. You got to stay healthy.
that's right.
That's right.
It keeps your mind. That's the thing in real estate is to have a clear mind.
There you go. So hey, you've been running this thing called REI BarCamp for a while now, and a couple of things attracted me to it. You call it the unconference and no presentations. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, this guy Bo, he's doing some pretty cool things. Why don't we talk about what it is, how you come up with these great ideas, and who should really come to something like this?
Cool. Yeah. So the background of REI BarCamp is simple. I actually can't take full credit for it. The tech industry started bar camps to get together and like collaborate on how to evolve the tech space.
Mm-hmm.
And then the real estate industry, like the realtors, they created RE BarCamp, and they took that idea. And since I'm a broker, I went to a few of those events, and I said, wait a second, what if we just put an I in there and it's REI BarCamp? So I bought the domain name 5-6 years ago, and I said, that's what we're going to do. We're going to have unconferences where you're not getting pitched a bunch of stuff, and you're just getting like the guys you want to meet and network with, the leaders in our industry, like yourself, who have done it, where you can just get face to face, belly to belly, and you can like ask your questions. And that's kind of the background of REI BarCamp, why we started it. And this is our 4th annual event. And then I just, over the years, I meet people like you that are awesome, right? Like I can pick your brain, and my people, my REIA can pick your brain, right? So it's like, this is a good chance where you don't have to pay thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
We basically charge enough to cover the expenses of the event, to rent the space, to provide lunch, and so forth. And then it's just pure content. So we do this year. We're having a few keynotes where you'll have some big presentations, but at the same time, there's also breakout rooms. So we have several rooms. So then you pick the track you want to go to, and if you want to learn about multifamily, you can go to Vinny's little discussion. If you want to learn about how to start your business through your IRA, you're going to go to Daniel Blue's event from Quest Education. He's going to talk about the Rob's plan and rolling your retirement funds into a business and things that we might not know of. And if you want to learn how a tech guy built, a huge portfolio and now doesn't have to work in the tech industry, they're going to come talk to you, right? And so that's the whole idea of the bar camp. And then it's from 9 to 3, September 28th. And then after that, we go down the street and we grab a couple drinks and we just network, exchange cards. The one thing I found about these things, which I love, is that, it's funny how deals are done at these events. Like Bobby Sharma, for example, at one of my meetups several years ago, he met Kent Mack, and then they went on to partner, and now they own collectively through their Roof for All things like 700 homes. They really grew. So Bobby got involved just because of the REIA that I put on, right? So I mean, just think about these creations of wealth just by, basically I'm taking my Rolodex that I've developed, spending thousands of dollars traveling to events, meeting people, and then bringing them under one roof. So that's the whole concept, and I'm happy to share. And obviously it's good for my business because the more people I know, my day job is lending money to these people, so it's a win-win for all. And then if you're new to this, it's great because you can learn the basic concepts. If you're super experienced, you can get those nuggets where you can, take your business to the next level. Like let me give you an example of a few people we have. Tommy Christie, he used to work for Blackstone. He's done, personally purchased between Blackstone and his own company, 2,700 homes, throughout Northern California. And I think like at any given time, he's got 40 deals going. So, so it's great. So it's great. Like even like you, right? You want to talk to guys like that. That's how we all elevate, even the high level guys like yourself can network. We got like Al Williamson, the leading landlord, right? He's going to teach people how to take a rental and maximize the cash flow. And so that's important right now too, especially if you want to buy in your neighborhood, it's a little bit harder to cash flow. So you get guys like Al to feed you information on that. Vinny Chopra, if you want to learn how to invest passively into an apartment complex, or if you want to become a syndicator, he just closed on a $52 million building.
Wow.
So we got guys like that. We've got Leo Cannell, and he has a company called Seven Figures Funding. He started his company like in a garage, and he learned how to play the credit game, and now he's a big time, right? And so he helps other people. He helps other people learn how to build business credit, learn how to set up entities correctly, and gives good advice as far as all the business and entrepreneurship. So you get guys like that can really grow and scale your business. We got Michael, I always screw up his name, Maranajan, Bayer Wealth Builders. I can never say his name right. Okay, he's been throwing his meetup for 30 years. He's a wealth of information. He's good. He's going to do some conversations. We have Mario, who's an appraiser. He's going to talk about best practices when you're flipping a property, and how to make sure your property appraises right. Because I could give you a personal example. I just did a flip. We had it in contract at $550. The appraisal came back at $500. We're going to lose $50,000. We tried to do a rebuttal on the appraisal. They said no. I told the lender, I said, listen, I don't want this deal. I don't want your buyer to lose the deal. Let's get a secondary appraisal. And then, so what we did is I had Mario do an appraisal, an independent appraisal. And he did it. He bracketed it correctly. I had Mario meet him at the house and explain, give him the appraisal, give him the comps, right? And it appraised at $550, right? So that little nugget saved us $50,000, right? So things like that are so important, especially as the market tightens, right? Like, and that's the thing too, because I got caught in 2008, like we talked on the last show, and it wasn't fun. So that's the whole point of this thing. It's like everybody's a rock star when the market's escalating, but when the shit hits the fan, which it's going to, by 2020 with Trump in the election and all this stuff going on, in the recession, it may not be a bad recession like 2008. I don't think it will be, but just be prepared, right? When I was flipping properties and it sold 30 grand over what I expected, that saved my butt a few times, right? What happens when the market goes down 10%, right? We're getting haircuts. That's the basis of the REI BarCamp. I think not just because I put the event on, but out of all the events, I think I don't get as much value anymore because I'm hosting it.
Right.
But if you're there, you're going to get a tremendous amount of value. And for all your listeners, I just gave you a coupon code so they can get. Still get that was an email I sent yesterday to you. They can still get the early bird pricing with that code, which saves them $52.
Nice.
So they can reach out to you, or you can send them an email, or you can post it in this YouTube. Maybe.
I will put it in the description as long as you're cool with that.
Yeah. So anybody that is out there trying to educate themselves and listening to your channel, right, and watching your channel, they're going to get to take advantage of this. And I just think, you know what, if you're successful or if you're just getting started, you got to educate yourself. I still do it. And after you educate yourself, the second step is you got to take massive action, right? And you got to systemize. And I think the last call we did, I was like really refocusing and energizing my business. And it's like, you know what? I decided to go more deep with a few things than spread out too far, because in this world with too much social media and too much intake, we're getting too spread thin. So I'm just going deep now, and it's paying off. So
that's awesome, Bo. So, hey, I think we both failed to mention, and I'll do it right now. This is definitely for all my Silicon Valley based listeners, because this is going to be hosted in San Ramon, California. You may have said that, but I missed it. I have lots of followers who are in the Silicon Valley. I'm going to put this out on LinkedIn, tons of followers there. So if you're in the Bay Area and you want to, either come meet me, or just get some great information, I'm going to be there. So it's going to be a good time. So again, September 28th, 9 to 3 in San Ramon, correct?
Yep. And they're going to use your promo code for the discount, and they can simply go to reibarcamp.com.
Yep.
And that's going to direct them to the Eventbrite page where they can purchase their ticket. But be sure to use the promo code that's provided to you.
Absolutely. So let's talk more about the event, because I just want to make sure. I don't know if I said it was in San Ramon, so I wanted to knock that out. So in the event, you're going to have a couple of big guys come up, do a big keynote. I'm guessing kind of right up front, and then we break out to the, hey, go to the track you want. That's kind of the flow.
Exactly. So we're going to have 3 rooms, actually, and then we'll have a 4th room, which is a networking room. And we got a huge room where we'll do the bigger presentations. Then we're going to have like 3 tracks going at once. So you're going to get you're going to have the schedule up front, and you can kind of pick which ones you want to go to. And then on each of the doors, you're going to see what classes, we're going to name them after books or something. We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's basically it. And then, so it's just like nonstop. We don't even break for lunch. We're going to have box lunches. So you just go in, and I think at noon, Vinny's going to provide his motivational, because he's an awesome motivator. He was a motivational speaker before he became a syndicator. So at lunch, we're just going to eat lunch and listen to, get motivated, and then keep on going until 3. And after 3, we go, and then we kind of digest and meet with all the people we just talked to, heard and listened to, and then we create friendships and build relationships.
That's awesome. So, hey, I just want to make sure I get the flow kind of post keynote. So again, everybody's going to pick where they want to go, kind of go here and there. And the idea is, are they asking the presenter or the person in the room questions? Are you thinking we're going to have, 5 or 6 slides and kind of walk them through? Or what do you really envision? Because that's really what I'm hoping is people come with questions, right? That's what I think is important to you.
Sure. So usually the leaders like yourself, when you're doing your breakout session, you're going to introduce yourself, give a little bit of your background, and dive into your strategies, and maybe you give a discussion on maybe it's as an employee, how do you get out of the rat race, right? Maybe that's your topic. And then you kind of give your 2 cents, maybe for 20 or 30 minutes. The last 15 minutes, it's all interaction. And even during your presentation, just take questions. Yeah. And then it's just, and sometimes the funny thing is that you don't even, it'll just be question after question where you're not even speaking really.
Yeah.
Answering questions and facilitating a conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I liked about when I researched this event is, unlike a meetup, right? Meetup like the, Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's really a presentation and a closing, right? What I see in the REI BarCamp is come with questions, right? Come to these and ask questions, give the presenter, the 5 minutes to kind of tell them who they are, but then, let's go, right? And come prepared is what I'm telling people, right? If you're going to come to this, come with intention, come with the questions you want to ask, and get them answered, right? That's why I said yes to this event, is because I could present anytime, but the ability to interact and answer somebody's pressing questions, that is so much fun and so rewarding to me. So I look forward to this. I liked how you set it up, and it was a pleasure to say yes to come. So it's awesome what you're doing.
And we appreciate guys like you that are willing to come, because you don't need to, right? You could just go and do what you want, but you're willing. And I think that's the thing about the real estate tribe, the real estate community, is people, when they make it and hit a certain success level, they're willing to share, right? And so a lot of businesses, it's like I'm going to keep all my information. But you get to a point where, okay, what's next? What's next is helping everybody that wants to learn and wants to get to the next level, to help them, right? And it is true. The more people you help, it does help you. Whether it's a wealth thing or it's more for you now, it's more of a giving thing. And helping people is rewarding in itself, right? That's like getting a huge payday, right?
Yeah.
You help this person, and as the world gets a little bit tougher to make a living, right? You might make more money, but are you really living a better life? And that's the key. Are you really living a better life than 10 years ago? And I have to reevaluate that for myself and say, okay, bigger spinning of the wheels, does that really equate to a better life? And so you got to figure that out for yourself. And I think that's what real estate does for people. Yeah. And I think, 16 years ago, or when you got started, right? Yeah. That was your question. It was like, you were very successful in software sales.
Yes.
But it's like, if you didn't do what you did, you'd still be doing that to your 65, probably.
Yeah, well, the horrible thing about my career choice is you really burn out by 50, and then you have no other skill set. So, you're just put out the pasture. I am glad I had a plan B. That's for sure. And if you work in the Silicon Valley, trust me, you need a plan B. I think the recession we're about to go into is going to be much more like the 2000 recession, where it probably won't be as bad as the .com, but I believe a lot of the Silicon Valley-based unicorns and all this RSU wealth and all this stuff we see, I think it's going to take a haircut. And you need a plan B, because I think unemployment's going to go up. There are other regions of the country going to continue to take our jobs because it's so expensive to live here. And people, get a plan B. Come to events like this. You need a plan B.
I mean, in any cycle, right? Like, I think I'm not an economics guru like a lot of people, but what I've learned is that when unemployment's at the lowest level in history, there's only one way it can go.
Exactly. Yeah. Could it go lower? Sure. Is it likely? Not really.
So it's, what's funny though? It's like people they're extreme, right? They're all 100% real estate, or then they get the scare and it's like, oh, real estate, I know, right? The key is systematically, like, is it a good time to buy real estate? Always, but certain assets, and you have to strategically, figure that out. Like, maybe flipping $5 and $6 million houses, or $3 million, I think $3-4 million houses might not be the answer right now.
Probably not.
I like the entry. Personally, I've always loved the entry level. And every time I do a more of a luxury type product, I realize that, entry level to me is just bread and butter, and you don't have to think too much about it. So, and as a flipper, what you learn is that flipping is probably not the best strategy because it burns you out just like your software sales job.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
exactly.
The buy, fix, hold, refinance model by far to me is like, if you're going to do anything in a single family space, makes the most sense.
I couldn't agree more. And again, one of the things that you'll see if you hear or read my story in the book, right, is we bought all the time. It was literally one at a time. And think about when we started, 2003. That was the last upcycle. And then it crashed. We were buying all the way down, right? We didn't know where the bottom was. We just kept doing better and better deals. Then it came out and we kept buying. And that's least, right? It's that massive action. Know your numbers, compare them, buy and hold. Time will fix itself. Refi debt if it makes sense. You can be real estate investing done boringly, right? Buy and hold, have a full-time job, can lead to financial freedom, and I'm proof of that.
So let me ask you this. So like right now, okay, let's just say we think the market's probably going to decline slightly, but at the same time, that creates opportunities to buy properties at a discount, right? So if you're looking at like the BRRRR model, for example, right, which is probably the good way to get started no matter what, because it's less risk. So when you're figuring out like, hey, I need to have 30% equity when I'm done fixing the property, right? Yep. Okay, like if we're going into a slight decline, you might want to, like, your ARV, you might want to put down 5%. Like Absolutely. If it's $100,000 ARV, maybe you're 95,000 when your numbers, right? So you're just being more conservative, because the one advantage too now is that if you're more conservative and the property appraises where you think it's going to be, rates are still very low, so you're locking in 30-year or 10-year fixed loans at historically low levels. So at the end of it, even if we hit a little bit of a decline for a year or two, you're going to end up way far because your cost of money is so much less.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Frankly, overpaying today by, let's just make up numbers, 10 grand is going to be nothing in the scheme of things if you lock in 30-year money with a 4 on it. Freaking kidding me? I was doing deals when I started with a 7 on it, right? So yeah, it is far better to time cost of money than price. Price in the scheme of things is nothing if you're a long-term hold.
And also, I've been reading, there's a lot of really good development projects. Like I've been really looking at the Las Vegas market because I love Las Vegas and things, and I'm doing business there. And I just read yesterday that the Victorville to Las Vegas high-speed train is back on as of yesterday. Nice. The Virgin guy, Russell Bronson. Russell Bronson? Yeah. I think he owns the rights to that. Okay. Yeah. So I do think that all those type projects are going to really change everything. I mean, I'm seeing so much, like with technology and things, like in Las Vegas, they're building like the first they're building like a Jetsons community there where they're going to have autonomous vehicles. They're going to it's going to be completely green. They're doing so it's like you live in this village basically, and there's work there. There's like everything is like solar. I mean, the future is going to be crazy. And so it's like, how does the average Joe or the average Bo take advantage of how do we take advantage of these movements, right? We have, like, I'm always now, is my thing is like, I'm looking at like what's going on in the market, like other than the, standard, like, how many homes sold and what's the median sales price. There's these external factors that I think we got to really start looking at, like what's really going on in the world, like with Amazon, right? With Amazon and Whole Foods. Going to Whole Foods now, right? Whole Foods is now, they have a whole department which is catering to the Amazon, and they're just, they're deploying everything. So it's like, how do we blend the whole tech, real estate, like Zillow right now, their goal is to buy 5,000 homes a month.
I know, I saw that. Crazy.
And even though they lost money this last quarter, they bought they brought in huge money, and they're startups, so of course they're going to lose money.
Yeah.
And then Open Door, just that other buying, they just started a mortgage company. The little guy is going to get pushed out unless they stand up for themselves, right? So you have to have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And so many of us go through life without a plan, and then all of a sudden we wake up at 40 years old or 41, and we go, what is my real plan, right? So the quicker you get a plan, right?
Yeah.
Like you were fortunate enough to make that decision where you're like, okay, I need a plan, right? And you just stuck with the plan. Little consistency, one house, one rental at a time, right? And it's like the power of consistency. Yep. If you go to the gym and you diet overall, you're going to have the physique you want, right? You can't just like go in there and work out once and not work out for a week, right? And that's what I like loved about your book, is that it wasn't like you're some super smart guy, right? It's just like the power of doing consistent activities, finding opportunities, understanding one pretty local real estate market, and taking advantage of it. And it's like, and people now look at it like, sometimes they're like, well, how'd you do that? It's so hard to do now in this market. And right, like that's the pushback. Yeah. Today, to buy, to get 165 doors or whatever, right, is a little bit overwhelming to most people.
Yeah.
But set that goal 15 years out, right? I'm going to get that by 15 years from now, right? So even if you're my age at 41, whatever, right?
Yeah.
15 years from now, I'm still going to end up far ahead of the average American, right? So it's really about those kind of activities. I've always been good about investing in real estate, but I've never been good about putting a little bit of cash in reserves, right? So going forward, it's like, when a check comes in, a certain percentage is going to reserves, and if I would have been doing that since I was 20 years old, I would have millions saved up by now, right?
Yeah.
And because I made the money, but where did it go? It got spent on stuff that I'm never going to get back. Where if I would have just taken 20% and put it away, but we don't do it. We don't do it. I don't know. It's human nature. Yeah. So that's why we have shows like yours, right? Press the fact. That's why you write books.
That's
okay?
Right.
And you can read that book and do nothing, and you won't get any value out of it, or you can read it and take action, right?
Yeah.
That's the key. That's that 20% to take action.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's why, one of the things we talked about at your event was just get to 4. Because you're right. A lot of people hear our story, 200 doors, blah, blah, blah. They clap, they give you high fives, they take pictures with you. But then they go to the car and tell their wife, well, we can't do that. 200's too big. No. Did you not read the book? I started with 1. I bought a house on Norris Drive, and then I didn't buy another one for almost a year, right?
Yeah.
It starts with 1. So yeah, at the end, get to 4. So I think the REI BarCamp is a must go to event. If you're in the Silicon Valley, you're a tech worker, you've thought about real estate investment at all, you need to be at this event on September 28th. There'll be a coupon code in the description. And we're gonna all come shake Bo's hand, because he's putting on an event to help all of you.
Well, I really appreciate you coming. I always love talking to you, because you're just a super sharp guy and have great insight about the market and just, staying consistent. And you're just like a normal dude that did what he said and stuck with a plan.
I appreciate you, Bo. All right, man. Have a great day. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thanks.